Salut ma gang de tabarnak! Okay, sorry for that. I think only a very few people will actually get that joke. Hi everybody, welcome to Off the Charts, episode 57. My name is Dan. I'll be your host today for this episode. It's not going to be a ranking episode, but I'll be talking about rock supergroups, or just supergroups in general. Now, this was actually tough. I'll explain as I go along here. First of all, what is a supergroup? Well, what I first thought, and I had to Google it after that, and that's where I had to draw the line somewhere. So it's a band or a project that consists of either successful solo artists or people from known bands. Now, I do use the word known bands, okay? Because if you go to Wikipedia and you Google what a supergroup is, and they're like, well, it's a group formed from other groups, but doesn't matter. Like Led Zeppelin considered a supergroup. I mean, besides Jimmy Page, the other bands that the other members were from, I never even heard of. And when I was Googling this in Wikipedia, I was like, Foo Fighters, a supergroup? And I was like, no. So I've set a few rules as to what I find is a supergroup. And I was talking with my friend Pascal about this. I said, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And says, so you know what? So for this episode, let's see if it works well. This episode, I will be doing it on supergroups with a minimum of 3 known artists from the that said supergroup. Maybe next one I'll do 2. But like I have some more for that. But I at least have to have 3 known members from that. And if I can recite them all, well then I'll let you know. So we'll start off with, and I was like, it was I found it just very difficult to define what a supergroup was, and so to me, like I said, has to be 3 members of that supergroup have to have come from someone somewhere else that is known, and yes, well, that's the thing. It must be a known band also there. Like, again, maybe some of you go, well, I never heard of that. Well, okay, that I know to a point. But I believe they're all household names. I believe. In the rock world, anyway. So we'll start off with the first one. Just very simple one here. This one may be the oddball of the group. But known bands, well, except one, you'll see. So I'm talking about Contraband. I only have this on CD. I'm trying to find it at a decent price on vinyl. This one is a bunch of artists. So we're talking Michael Schenker. We all know who this guy is from Scorpions, MSG, Michael Schenker Group. We have Bobby Blotzer from Rat. Cher Peterson from Vixen. Tracy Guns from early Guns N' Roses, I think, but more known as LA Guns. And the singer, I've never even heard of this band until I bought this at the time, was Shark Island. This is actually not bad. It's a lot of covers. Some you may recognize, some are actually pretty deep cut covers there. But all in all, this is actually a very fun album. I like this a lot. It's a very fun summer album, if that makes any sense. So Contraband, this one here has, well, technically 5, but again, I never heard of Shark Island until I bought this. But 4 members from previous other hair metal acts: Rat, Vixen, LA Guns, and MSG. There you go, Contraband. Next up here, The Firm. Now, who is The Firm? Well, and you'll hear a few members from this one here. I'm talking about Jimmy Page. He's from Led Zeppelin. Paul Rogers from Free and Bad Company. The drummer Chris Slade, I believe, I forget the name. I think either the bass player or the drummer was from Santana. I forget. Tony Franklin is the only reason I bought this is because of the bass player, Tony Franklin, who will come back, by the way. This is decent. It's not excellent music there. I find it's decent. I have both their albums. They're good. It's I think their big break was Radioactive. But you listen to it, you're like, I don't even think I've ever heard this song on the radio, or maybe once. But anyway, it's not bad. The Firm. Like I said, I bought this because Tony Franklin on bass, who will come back later on here. So there you go, The Firm. First of all, cheers, everyone. Et voilà. Next up, I'm going to be cheating a little bit, but not really. Hollywood Vampires, which are Alice Cooper from Alice Cooper, obviously, Joe Perry from Aerosmith, and of course the Joe Perry Project, and Johnny Depp from movies. Johnny, go Johnny. But this is their second album. That's just them three now. But the first one had Duff McKagan on bass from Guns N' Roses. That drummer from Guns N' Roses. Matt Sorum was also on this. But now I believe it's just them three. If I look at... Yeah, there's 4 people here. Well, Tommy Henriksen was also on here from the Alice Cooper group there. So anyway, I'm not cheating really, but whatever. So sue me. Again, the first album was mostly a bunch of covers with 2 original songs. This one is much better, much complete. My God, this light is such a terrible. Well, actually, look at this. It's actually pretty cool here. I don't know if you guys can see it this way. Anyway, bright orange or orange red album cover there. But there you go. Oh, yeah. Anyway. I like this album here. I like this band here. So there you go. Hollywood Vampires, who currently have Johnny Depp, Alice Cooper, and Joe Perry. There you go. Not a ranking episode, like I said. Just mentioning this here. Next up, I did mention this album in my 2022 albums so far. I'll mention it again. Motor Sister. Who is Motor Sister? It's got members of Anthrax. That's Scott Ian. I'm going to be bad with the names here for the rest there, but I know there's White Zombie in there and Armored Saint. I don't know where the singer comes from. John Tempesta, I believe, is White Zombie. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And Joey Vera, I think that's the guy from Armored Saint. I don't know. I don't know Armored Saint that well. I know Anthrax. I know this is Scott Ian. But apart from that, and very decent album too. We'll see how it ranks at the end of the year for 2022. But Motor Sister. So Anthrax, Armored Saint, and White Zombie, and I don't really know who the rest come from. So there you go. Motor Sister. This will be a... Oh, here we go. This was actually a very big, nice surprise when I got it there. I'm talking about Black Swan. Who is Black Swan? Well, it's Robin McAuley on vocals from MSG, but not the MSG with Michael Schenker. Well, yes, with Michael Schenker, but not the one you think. It's MSG as opposed to Michael Schenker Group. It's the McAuley Schenker Group. A little more AOR type hard rock. But yeah, Black Swan also has Red Beach from Winger, one of my favorite bands, and currently Whitesnake too. Jeff Pilson from Dokken, also Foreigner, and Matt Starr, who all I'm told was from Ace Frehley. Whether he was on an album or just a touring band, I don't know there. But again, qualifies for 3. This was actually very surprising. I was like, wow, this is actually very good hard rock here. You can still make good hard rock in 2022, or this was in 2020, I think. Yeah, 2020, because they just came out with another album this year also. Because this one was actually very critically acclaimed. People wanted more. So Black Swan, Robin McCauley, Red Beach, Jeff Pilson from Dokken and Foreigner. I said that right? Yeah, I think so. And Matt Starr from Ace Frehley. I don't know what else he's done there. But here's another decent one here. Black Swan. All right, this, you'll be surprised just that I own it maybe, because I'm always talking about hard rock, but came up with my friend when I was texting him about these types of bands. This one has 5, and you guys pretty much all know who these 5 are. Talking about the Traveling Wilburys. Okay, it's not hard rock, but you know what? A good album is a good album. George Harrison from the Beatles. Roy Orbison from the Roy Orbison Experience. I don't know. Just Roy Orbison solo, I guess. Tom Petty from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Jeff Lynne from Electric Light Orchestra. And Bob Dylan as Bob Dylan. So yeah, this, and I think they have a second album. I just bought this one because I loved those 2 songs when they came there, and actually there's a couple of surprises on this here, but yeah, this is another what we call a very super group where you have 5 people in the band. So the Traveling Wilburys, Volume 1, I think. Yeah, this is Volume 1 it's called. So there you go, Traveling Wilburys. All right, another super group here. This is where you think a super group would be great with all these band members, and it just turns out good. So I'm talking about Chickenfoot. I like Chickenfoot. I love every member, well, most of every member of this year. So I'm talking about Sammy Hagar from, my God, Montrose, Solo, Van Halen. Michael Anthony from Van Halen. Joe Satriani from his solo Joe Satriani. And Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers. 4 band members here. But when you listen to the albums, I find they're not bad at all. They're good albums. But I was expecting something a little bit more great than this year. But there are very good songs, like really awesome songs on they have only 2 albums. Again, I'm not dissing. This actually came with 3D. So well, it looks weird there. I love also how they named their second album Chickenfoot 3. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, here's a group. Like I said, I find it very good. I would have gladly seen them live. I have everything they own. I was expecting just a notch better, but you know what? Still, I play these all the time here. So, Chickenfoot, Sammy Hagar, Joe Satriani, Chad Smith, and Michael Anthony. There's another one for you. Now, just to show that I'm not picking on my friend Sammy here, if you want a good, really good supergroup, try this one here. HSAS. Hagar, Sean, Aronson, Shreve. So, who are these guys, obviously? So, Sammy Hagar, of course, still from Montrose. I'm not sure. I don't know. He was not in Van Halen at the time. So, at this time, it was Montrose and Sammy Hagar solo. Neil Sean from Journey. I think it's Kenny Aronson that was in Rick Derringer. And Shreve, what the hell's his name? No, yeah. Is there? I forget. Anyway, Shreve, the drummer, I think from Santana. you want a good, like, oh, the story behind this album is they went on tour, maybe just like an 11 city tour, recorded, they were playing original songs and a few covers here and there, I'm sure there, but they recorded the album live, took those tapes, went into the studio, tampered them a little bit, and came out with this. So, but some of these songs are killer. Top of the Rock is a good rock song, but Animation, my God, that guitar riff in there is so friggin' original and cool. Same thing with He Will Understand. Who the hell writes a riff like that's one of those cool, and like those two songs right there are worth the price of admission. My Hometown is great. I love this album here. I was extremely pleasantly surprised when I bought this, because I was into a Sammy Hagar kick at the time there when I was trying to get anything solo, and I'm like, what the hell is this here? Bought it and was like, holy shit, this is good. So if you want a good super group that's actually, it's, I'm saying not worth the hype there. Not many people know about this. It's not a household name, that's what I mean. But this album rocks, man. It's like, it's really good there. So trust me, it's my recommendation for you here. So HSAS, there you go. Before I go on to my last one, let's have another sip. All right, last one here. And you'll laugh at the reason. This has a story behind, many story. Well, I'm talking about the self-titled Blue Murder. Who is Blue Murder? Well, Tony Franklin, who was from The Firm, and I believe Santana. But yeah, The Firm. John Sykes, who had just been freshly booted out of Whitesnake, but he was also in Tigers of Pantang and Thin Lizzy. But the reason I bought it, because this guy here, I didn't know who these two guys were. I bought it because I'm like, oh, I know this guy. He's always in Metal Edge magazine. I just didn't know who the hell he played for. He played for King Cobra, which I have now, all their discography. Paul Stanley's solo record. He played on, I think it's Bark at the Moon, Aussie record. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I knew that face somewhere. I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. Well, first time I bought it, and I'm ashamed to say it. And anybody remember MySpace? So, this guy was on MySpace, and I somehow found him. And I started talking with him because this was internet, I guess, not super new at the time, but social media was actually very new. So everybody was talking with anybody, and no filters and no managers doing your accounts. So I was talking with this guy, and we're starting to talk about Blue Murder, and I said, you look, Tony, my friend. No, I was like, Blue Murder, I absolutely love right now. I find this to be more of an adult type hard rock, if that makes any sense. This came out in 89. So I was 17 at the time. Yeah, 17. So at that age, you know what? You had your Motley Crues, your Kiss, your Rat, your... You know where I'm getting, Poison, all that. That's what I was kind of into. Well, that's what people in school, too, were into. But I saw the big... I remember this as clear as day. There was this in Metal Edge. And I'm like, wow, who the hell is this? But I know this guy. So I bought the cassette at the time. And I was like, oh. I bought it. I was like, oh my God. It's good, but it's like... I find it thinking man's metal, if that makes any sense. It wasn't made for kids. That's what I mean. To me, the audience was not made for me at the time. Years go by, we were laughing about these guys. And then I started, I think when the CD burners came out, my friend was telling me, oh, can you burn videos? We found a way to burn videos from the internet, download them, put them on a CD, and then watch them. And I found some Blue Murder videos, which I had never seen. And I was like, holy fuck, this is good. So I bought that CD. I bought the CD. And then Rock Candy Records came out with a remaster. So I bought the first CD again. And then when I went and did the switch back from CD to vinyl, Went and bought this again. So I bought this album 4 times. Not bad for somebody who never liked it at the time. But anyway, I love Blue Murder. I don't know, for me, it wasn't the right band when I listened to it at the time. But right now, as an adult, a mature adult, mind you there, I love this record. And I'm hoping that somebody can reissue that second one on vinyl. Because I'm not paying $500 for a vinyl there. And I think the second one gets a lot of flack. I think it's very good too. Take off that one cover song, which is annoying, or you should have put it at the end. But whatever. Anyway, I wished these guys would come back together and make another record. I loved it that much. Like this again, loved it as an adult, liked it as a teenager. If that makes any sense. And I told Tony Franklin that in the MySpace days. I'm like, yeah, sorry, man. Like I said, as a kid, I didn't really get it. As an adult, I do. And he's like, yeah, I totally get it. So I was like, okay, I guess I got through. I don't know. But anyway, so that's another one of my good super groups. Wished I had been more smarter at the time there. But you know what? It is what it is when you're a kid, right? So there you go. So Blue Murder, John Sykes, Tony Franklin, and Carmen Apiece. I forget how. So there you go. We'll see if they're gonna be. Let's see how the likes and the viewmanship goes with this episode. Maybe I'll do another one with. I have other super groups there with just 2 members. Like I said, this one at least had to have a minimum of 3 in the band. So we'll see how this goes here. And let's see what I have in my discography still there. So anyway, that's my little episode on supergroups. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death with this one here. But it's been something I wanted to do for a little while there. And I got to talking to my friend about it. And I was like, man, it was not... My version of a supergroup is not what Google or Wikipedia has as a supergroup there. Again, nothing against Foo Fighters, but to me that's not a supergroup. That's just a group, you know? But anyway, there's a fine line here for that there. So, anyway, on that note, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great whatever. And we shall see you next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.